Welcome to the 2inspire Network interview with Annette Clark-Headley, founder of Almocado. She has a fantastic range of holistic products and we'd like to talk to her a bit more about her business and how she got started. So Annette, you're the founder of Almocado, a fantastic range of holistic products. Could you tell us a little bit more about your products and your range?
Okay, so the products are an extension of my therapy business, where it started from the holistic hair care and complementary therapy business that I had. And at the centre of it all is wellness. The whole mantra of my company is feel better, be well. And I wanted to create products that follow along with that. So if you came for, say, a massage treatment and you felt better, what could you take home that will help you continue to feel well? And again, when your hair has been styled or you had your sister locks done, what could you take with you or what could you do which would be an extension of me or my practice taking home with you?
Fantastic. Now from the research that I did, I found that you were in a totally different field before you started your business. Could you just explain a little bit about that transition and how you actually went from what you did before to what you're doing now?
Okay, so before I started Almocado, I would spend almost 13 years in investment banking, and that's basically what I went to university for, and it's something I absolutely loved. You know, I loved the fast pace, I loved the compensation, I loved everything about that, but my body didn't love it, and I found that it was taking a toll on me. And you know, when they say the work-life balance, it wasn't skewed in my favour. So in addition to that, I had 3 children, and I found that I didn't want my childminder or the nanny raising my children. I wanted to be there for them, particularly in their formative years, and my job wasn't going to allow me that, it wasn't enabling me. So I needed really to do something that would allow me to be around for my children and also to help nourish or sustain the side of me that was more interested in well-being, wellness and holistic lifestyles. That's how I went into this.
Fantastic. So would you say that your high-pressure job prepared you for the world of self-employment, or was the Annette that we've got now a totally different person to the investment banker?
I'd say in some ways it prepared me because there is a ruthlessness required in being self-employed in terms of marketing yourself, in terms of, you know, I don't want to say watching competitors, but in terms of assessing where you are compared to where, you know, your competitors are, and positioning yourself in a way that's best able to, I really don't want to use the word defeat, but I'm struggling for another word. In order to just you do you and not so much worry about what's happening around you. And I think that the background of banking gave me that single-mindedness to be like, okay, well, I have this to deliver, this is what I need to deliver it by, and this is how I'm going to do that. So I just apply that to my business. This is the product I'm going to make, or this is the range of products that I want to make, by when, for whom, to, you know, and just work with it that way. I think it also helped that I did a lot of project management, and that I find I use that a lot in my day-to-day running of the business and so on as well. So yes, I think it prepared me in many ways, and in some ways not at all. So,
okay. And in terms of focusing on your range, so you've mentioned quite a lot of things, and I know you have quite a varied holistic background, but how did you manage to sort of hone in on those products and say, right, this is what I'm going to offer out there?
When we started, I think my range is probably in this big. It's huge, and you know, my husband has been he's been such a great support. He'd be the person that we say, there's only one of you at the moment. When you make everything by hand, you can't make all of this all the time. You're going to need to bring it in and concentrate on a few quality items, premium stuff, and then think about, well, what's going to happen if this takes off. Are you going to outsource it? Are you going to keep making it by hand? Or have you made enough that you can start, you know, expanding it? Second Secondly would be supply and demand. It's all well and good to say I offer all of these things, but if this core set is what sells the most, logically speaking, there's no point really offering this one. I can still do this wide range for friends and family for Christmas, but on a day-to-day basis, the revenue is generated by this core, so it makes sense to kind of focus on that core. That's kind of how I trimmed it in and decided what to focus on.
Now,
I'm sorry, I'm still tweaking and I'm still thinking. So there are times where a customer may say, do you do this? And you may ask me enough times that I might think, do you know what, I really should actually be doing that. I used to do it, or I may have thought about it, but I wasn't sure. But yes, I am going to go and work on it. So where I am in this stage of the business, I can still tweak and change things. And I like that aspect of it. I really do. I'm not sure I will ever be happy if I just said I only do A, B, and C only, and that's it. I just churn that out, because then that really feels a bit too much like work. And I'd rather still have the creative kind of buzz that I get from making things.
So would you say being self-employed is a creative process, or?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah. Because when you work for someone else, you really have to fit what they want. There's bits where you can show your personality or do something, but really, if you're generating, analysing some figures and generating a report, there isn't really that much you can do what you do. Colour the text blue instead of green, you can do nothing really. Whereas if you are working for yourself, you can actually decide whether you want to generate that report at all or just do something else. You have so much more freedom, and I love that. I mean, I saw this thing on, I don't know if I think my husband sent it. It was about this guy who, he was fishing, and Mexican guy fishing, and an American tourist came and said, what you done all day? This fish is really great. How many did you catch? And he said, I must have caught 5. And he said, why? You've been out all day. And he was like, well, I caught some, then I went and slept, I took a walk with my wife, I played with my kids, and I went to cut some more, just like that. And here's my 5. And the tourist was like, no, you need to do better than that. You need to get more guys to go out with you, and you can hire this, and you can have 200 come in, you can have lots, and then you would control this, and you would have big stores, and you can ship it to America, and you can be head of this big conglomerate, and then you can retire, and then you can lie on the beach all day. And the fisherman said something like, well, what's the point in that? I'm doing it now. And why would I wait 20, 30 years to retire when I'm happy? I have exactly what I need, more than enough. I don't have masses and masses of excess, but I've got enough. And my children are happy, my wife is happy, and I get to take a sleep when I want to. And that's me, really.
So being content in your business is a massive part of what drives you and your motivation.
Yes.
That's brilliant. And in terms of your stress levels, obviously you spoke about being highly stressed, and part of the reason the work-life balance didn't come together for you, and it almost forced you into something totally different. Do you feel you now have that balance, or is it still a constant struggle?
I have that balance 90% of the time. When there are important exhibitions or events coming up where I'm either speaking or I have to, I'm there to sell, I do get stressed because I want everything to be perfect. And it means I have to spend a lot of time making batches, doing the labelling, getting everything in order, yada yada yada. I also get stressed when I'm doing the sister lot side, because there are lots of clients that get their hair done, and I can start to feel like, oh, I'm just doing this, and where's my me time? However, I do always have the option of saying, actually, I'm not working today. No, I'm not booking you in. I can't do that exhibition on that day because I have my me time. So 90% of the time, it's a massive improvement because I control how much stress I take on to some extent and how I handle it. And for that, I'm totally grateful. So I'm very happy with that.
That's brilliant. A massive part of owning your own business is obviously your self-image and marketing yourself. How difficult, or how have you actually found that process? How has it been for you?
I'm so glad you asked that, because as you can see, I suffer from alopecia totalis. When I started my business, I didn't. I had locks down to here, and it was very easy to say, try my product, it will grow your hair, because I can demonstrate or I can show it. It has been very difficult to be the bald-headed loctician down in South London. It's been very difficult to be the lady who sells hair products that has no hair. but I think it has also been, what do you call it, like a proving ground, where it's like make or break you, and because I've had to fight harder and try harder, it's made me stronger. So marketing is difficult. Some days I will wake up and I'll be like, do you know what, I really don't like being bald-headed. I'm not in the mood to go and face people and be like, it's all good, because today I feel like it's good. But because I have my end goal in sight, I do realise that, you know what, I can get up and face the day, put on my smile, put on my makeup, and it's all good.
That's fantastic. And I love the motto that you have, which is feel better, feel well. I mean, what advice would you have for people about feeling better and being well?
Feeling better, that's kind of what you do when you take an aspirin. You've got a little pain, you think, okay, alright, it feels better, that's done. Being well is actually dealing with the root cause of why you're in pain, why something's hurting, why you're ill. And for me, it's not just about feeling better. It's feel better, be well, find the root cause, narrow down on it, and treat that as well, so that you are doing something, being something that makes you feel well in completeness.
And if you had advice for someone thinking about making the transition from being an employee to being self-employed, and obviously with the theme of feel better, be well, what advice would you give someone?
There is only one you. That said, you have to be well. You have to make time for you. So as much as you want to do the marketing and the planning and the cash flow forecast and all of these things, it needs to be coming from a position of strength, a position of wellness and wholeness. So my tip would be, before you even do anything else, do you find whatever it is that you need to bring you to a place of equilibrium and balance, and then whatever you do from there on is going to prosper because you're doing it from a position of strength.
So Annette, you mentioned support, and you've mentioned your children and your husband. How much of a role did they play in this process?
So my husband was pretty key, because without him I wouldn't have been able to resign from my previous job to start this business. But I was also very blessed to have a really good set of core friends who supported my business from day one, buying products, having treatments done, which gave me income to plow back into the business. And without them, I wouldn't actually be where I am today, because it gets delayed. You know, I haven't had to go to a bank manager yet. It's all self-funded, and for that I'm truly grateful.
Now, 2inspire's mission is obviously to help women to network, promote, and inspire one another in the world of business. What tips would you offer for networking and promoting and inspiring other business women like yourself?
I'd say don't be afraid. A lot of small business women, we're a bit frightened. Like, we have our little jewels and we're afraid to say, hey, this is what I do, in case you snatch my idea and you run with it and make more money than I do. Don't be afraid, because we tend to cut ourselves off from relationships, friendships, and things that can actually enrich us and help us in our own businesses if we're so frightened to share what we have. And you don't know, sometimes what you have can bless somebody else. So trying to get rid of that fear and that kind of, I don't really like to call it small-mindedness, but that kind of crabs in a barrel where you just have to be by yourself and get there on your own. Try to be a bit more open. Let go a little bit. Find people that you can trust and build with, because you will only help each other and build together, and that's an awesome thing.
Fantastic. Well, I'd like to thank Annette for her time. Thank you so much for joining us here on 2inspire.
Thank you for having me.